Everybody, let's take a moment, gather ourselves, and applaud Global Grand Summoners for doing a Halloween banner in October. I know, it's crazy, right? And since we got it, you already know it's a should you summon, man. And this is the first time we are ever getting Halloween units in Grand Summoners Global. And I think, in general, even in JP, there's not been any more Halloween characters yet. And these Halloween units are Halloween Forte, Charlotte, and Valerie. And each one of these units have strengths and weaknesses, of course, but let's talk about Halloween Forte first. A support unit that doesn't have a team yet. She's a dark human that wants to support other dark allies when no other dark ally wants her by their side. Most dark allies at the moment are demons, and their team is pretty much set in stone. We don't have the final piece yet on global, but she'll be coming soon. So if you don't use her with demon units, then the lineup you can use is pretty limiting on global at the moment. Later on, we'll get characters like FM Haruto, Shadow, and a few others that can kind of give her a place in the meta. To an extent, it's still going to be pretty difficult to max out her passive. You may have to even start including awoken units in her team if you really want to max that thing out, since the Ascended characters are only humans and demons. However, with all that being said, she's a pretty okay unit. I mean, she has solid arch gen, she has an attack up, equip CT, a bunch of stuff in the kit that's just going to help you overall, and you don't really have to build for the super art or passive. You're still going to get a pretty solid unit with her, and you'll be perfectly fine. Halloween Charlotte, the Fire Bleed unit. She already has some bonus points since she's part of the very few units in the game that actually have this debuff, and just like those units, she gets exponentially stronger based on the number of bleeds the enemy has. And not just passively this time around, also actively. I'm talking about 250% Fizz res down on a super art. Yes, please. Can I have that, please? The only issue is, well, she's a bleed unit, which most of the time they are on the slower side when it comes to the speed of these characters. Yes, you can always use bleed equips and stuff like that to try to get their stacks maxed quicker. Then you're losing out on arts equips and other equips that just may help out the unit a bit more. Another reason why Charlotte is slow is that her bleed is tied to her true art. Fortunately, getting the long treatment here, but hey, in this day and age, it's not like that's a deal breaker. She's still going to perform extremely well, and if you like using these style of units, you're probably going to really enjoy this character. Who knows, maybe one day too, she'll be needed on a mono fire floor, or in a future in-game content due to that bleed that she offers. And last but not least is Halloween Valerie, the magic attacker that can reset all of her equips. I already know some of you are freaking out once you heard that. Star God Lisa as a DPS unit is probably running through a lot of your guys' brain, and to an extent, I guess you'd be right. However, she's definitely not on the same level. She has a few buffs in the kit to kind of help her damage, like a 200% damage up on the SA. You also have a damage up passive that scales with your attack, and an attack buff on the art. Let's not forget that she has a defense ignore as well on that super art. You may have noticed is that all these buffs are just to herself. Nothing goes to her team. She's pretty selfish. The only thing team-wide in her kit is technically her debuff on her true art, in which she's able to stack more magic res on the enemy, which is going to be extremely powerful in certain nukes or just in certain compositions when you already have a unit that is able to apply a large amount of magic res down. There's one other thing that I didn't mention she has, which is also a team-wide buff, and it's her passive. This gives her allies a scaling damage res buff, which is really weird. She's so offensive, then she has this in the kit. I would assume it's probably to help her out a bit in certain nukes that are pretty damage heavy, or to improve her standing in sustain comps. If I had to really wrap this all up and tie it in a nice little bow, here's what I'll say though about Valerie. She has certain situations where she'll look like one of the best attackers ever due to her magic equip reset. This is an extremely strong ability, and we've seen it countless amount of times with characters like Arthur, Star God Lisa, and of course now Valerie. Her damage will definitely be pretty solid, as well as her magic res debuff. As mentioned before, stacking that with a large source of magic res down, it's just a match made in heaven. So that was a lot of yapping, but what's the verdict? Should you summon on this banner, or should you skip? Since these are the first Halloween GS units ever, it'll be okay to give in to temptation just a bit, and at least do a multi. I wouldn't do any more than that. We are in the middle of the Fate crossover, which we don't even have to mention all the wild units that will be coming from it. So vets, beware, don't spend all your crystals. New players, it's pretty much the same for y'all. A summon on this wouldn't be terrible if you wanted to do it. The best unit to get as a new player would be Halloween Forte. Archgen, attack buff, equip CT, she checks off all the boxes. Even then though, she's not better than the Fate units that are about to come out that do a similar job as her. So this is a very easy skip for practically everyone. The only reason why you would really summon on this banner is that if you, I guess, are a fan of any of these units, or if you're just interested in maybe getting one of the very first Halloween characters to ever come out in Grand Summoners Global. So hey, that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you all for coming out. It's me, boy P. Tell me down below what you all think about this banner. Are you gonna be summoning or are you not? Me myself, I don't know if I'm gonna be summoning necessarily. I may do a few out pulls here and there, but I don't know if I'll use any of my crystals, man. I gotta save all that for fate. But hey, you guys let me know what you guys are doing down below in the comment section. Also, if you enjoyed this video, have me check out either one of the other videos popping up on your screen right now. Your boy OP is pretty thirsty, so you already know what that means. Don't forget to drink water.